live now. But
Hey,
it's in the chat on YouTube. Hey,
what's up?
everybody. Anyone
What's
watching
up,
out there?
metalheads?
I'm joined today by Behind the Horror. This is Lucas and Gabriel Alves. Is that correct pronunciation?
That's right. That's exactly.
Okay. So, Behind the Horror. So, tell us about. So, I always like to start off by asking about the band name. What is Behind the Horror? Why is that the name of your band? What's it mean?
Behind the horror, everything came like. Well, we were thinking about a name before we're gonna change. We were planning to change a lot of things in the previous band we had, and then this name came. I don't even really. I'm not sure, but the whole story behind it was like because when you got a horror story like a serious murder or whatever, there's something behind that, like there's something that happened that nobody knows, like some crime happens, some shit happens, but you don't know the truth. You only know the things that are on the paper, but you don't know the reasons, you don't know anything about it. And this is like the meaning of the behind the horror. Like you need to search for the subtitles, you need to search for the truth, you need to search for something more than the horror that it showed to you. Like
Behind the horror lays the truth.
yeah, I mean, you can take the thing that we're happening now. We're living in a pandemic, and this is like the horror we're living now. But what is behind that? What is behind that?
Cool.
Some people know, some people don't know, some people think they know, but that was it's behind the horror means
Yeah.
yes.
A lot of people could speculate, but they don't necessarily know.
Yeah.
Right. So let's talk about your band. Right. Behind the horror. What is the style of your band? How would you describe it? People say to you, "What kind of music are you?" Can you lay it out for us in a couple of paragraphs? What Behind the Horror sound like?
Yeah, I don't think, first of all, I don't think that I don't like to say we are this because everyone has a different perception on what they're listening. I personally I don't like these types of labels. We play metal, and inside metal you can play a lot of things. So that's how open-minded we are when we're making a song. We stick with metal. Some people said in some reviews were modern metal or this type of metal, trash prog metal. Well, I kind of agree with trash prog metal because we have a lot of influence from Dream Theater, Black Sabbath, and Metallica, Megadeth. So we that's our um, the mainstream influence that we have in our lives as a musician. So I think it's only metal, just
Yeah.
I would say we're like more trash than anything, but I don't know. Well, I let to people decide that. I don't know because
Uh,
we sound trash, but we sound a lot of stuff too. I guess.
Fresh
so
with other elements.
yeah, we don't like say no we're this no. One band that is cool to talk about it's Opeth
Yeah.
because they changed radically their style. So and they have a lot of everything that they do. I think it's amazing. So I and it's still metal for me. I
Mm.
don't know. I guess
What
I,
do you think? What do you think? Did you
yeah,
listen to the Burn Up the Truth
I
album?
think I played a track of it on my podcast, but I've not had a chance to listen to that an awful lot now. But talking about, so you've been going around since 2008. How have you changed? How has your outlook changed since that time? Did you start off saying we are this, but as you've gone along, you developed and decided to say, oh no, we're just metal? Has your style and your outlook on your band changed in the 12 years, whatever it is you've been going?
Well, I think we changed a lot, but not that much because the songs we're playing now, they were written like on that time, like Burn Up the Truth, the Burn Up the Truth song was written in 2000,
2008. No,
2008, 2009, and I mean we just now we got to release that song, that album, because we're like we moved to the US, like, and a lot of things happened. And so just now we were like doing new stuff. So
Right.
we're pretty much the same thing we were like 10 years ago. But
Okay.
but I think for the sound, I think it should be like the thrash metal.
Yeah. So talking about 10 years ago and Brazil, so you're in America now, you're in New Jersey. Tell us about the origin, how the band got together. It kind of helped the fact that you're brothers. So how did you sort of start the band? How did you develop from like little kids never even heard of metal to suddenly being metalheads and then forming a band? How did that come about?
Oh, that's a really cool story because the first thing we got was like I was in a I think I got to a new school, and then I got this friend. They knew they had this friend I got was that kid who has a computer and access to the internet,
Yeah.
like in the early 2000s. And I mean, we didn't got that yet. So once we know all the things there, he was downloading a lot of songs. And like, what is this? He played me. I think my first rock song I listened was Nirvana, and was like the first band we really got into. Like Nirvana was like brought us to the rock and roll universe, and then everything starting there. So then we after a couple of months we discovered Black Sabbath. So when we discovered Black Sabbath was like
Yeah,
so like that
mind blowing.
first down, dang, dang, the whole thing happened there.
Yeah.
And like all the kids who see like guys playing guitar and all that stuff, like we just like do the same. We want to be rock stars. We want to play to a big crowd. We want to like writing songs, writing lyrics, writing riffs and all that stuff. And for Lucas, I don't know what.
Well, for me, it was pretty much the same thing because he's the older brother. So what happened was when he started listening to Nirvana, I started listening too. But before that, there was a band called Mamonas Assassinas, which is it's a band that they were kind of a popular band in Brazil, but they had some influence from Pantera. So I found out about that later, of course. But they used to play really heavy riffs and stuff, and mix with Brazilian comedy type of lyrics. And then that was my first contact with like heavy music. And then we start having listening to Nirvana, Black Sabbath, and then the whole crew of the mainstream and whatever heavy metal bands. And
Right.
then we start digging into it. And then there's one thing that I like a lot is to watch documentaries. So, but that's gonna be for another question probably.
All right.
That was pretty much it, So
Okay. So what kind of age was you when you first discovered metal, and how long did it take you from discovering bands, listening to bands, to saying, "Oh, I'm going to play an instrument"? And how did you come to decide what instruments you were going to play? Was it like, wait, if we're going to be a band, you better learn how to play drums, and like, I'll play guitar? How did that come about?
Well, for me was well when I mean I always wanted to be the red Power Ranger, and like I must be the guitar player. I must be the vocalist. And before that, I was kind of into the country music. I always liked to sing, but I never was like really into rock and all that stuff. But when I got into it, I just decided I need I one uncle of mine he gave me a acoustic guitar, and like right after that I started to take lessons, and then on the guitar school I learned I met some other guys there, and then my brother starting to do lessons too. I thought he started playing bass.
no, the thing was like as the young brother, you wanted to follow and be alongside with your older brother. So that
Yeah.
was my way to fit in. So I tried playing the guitar. I That didn't work. I tried playing the bass. I didn't work. That's one thing that I another topic, because people say, you got to be talent. I'm not talent, because I try even the drums and I pretty much failed and gave up. And then 1 year passed, and my brother, he's always he always kept his dreams alive and constant on things that he started doing. And then one day his drummer on the band left, and then I say, hey, you know what, I'm gonna play drums in the band. And they said, yeah, you want it, when you gonna start? And then I start. There was another, we changed for he changed, because he started in a school music, and then he changed to another, and there was another drum teacher
Mm.
then. And then I start going to that drum teacher, and then we formed the first band, which was called Sangria.
Mm.
And since that was the beginning. But when I realized how drums connect into my life, that just became another whole world to me. And it's like part of me now, because I like the challenge of the tempo mixing. I'm a kind of nerd. I used, when I was between 14, I think 13 to 17, I used to study the drums since, like, when I got to school was like 1 p.m. to 5, or I used to go 5 p.m. because I didn't want to bother the neighbors too much. But that didn't work, because they called the police on me. Because in Brazil you have law, they call the police, and I got forbidden to play the drums in my own house. That was one of the saddest days in my life. I got a notification, and if I play another time, I would get a ticket.
Yeah.
And then I didn't play anymore because I didn't want to pay for the ticket. And and one other day that was really good for me at the same time was when my drum teacher said, hey, I don't have anything else to teach you, so do you want to come, and instead of paying for the classes, you help me with the students? And we stood together, and I said, oh man, let's do it. That was a very good day in my life as a drummer.
Yeah. So to know you're good enough to teach other people.
Yeah, well, he said it, so
Yeah.
someone of my trust.
So, what is there, like people say there's like a kind of a mentality? It's like the singer, guitar player is more bold and brash, wants to get out there and rock the stage, and the drummer's kind of in the back, more quiet. Is there any kind of facet of your personality which makes you sort of veer towards your particular instruments?
Well, it depends, because the dynamic on this band is really like the opposite. We always trying to play like he on one side and he and me on the other side.
Right.
And when we're not playing on this setup, he's like on the middle, and I set up two microphones like this, and he always the showman on the middle. I mean,
That's
and
interesting.
this is really nice because like I don't think everything should rely on the vocalist on the solo guitarist, even though I'm the only other member of the band. But it really brings something different to the stage, because what we always see who really makes difference, like you can see like Rush, like Dream Theater, Metallica, it was the drummer like gets pulls the energy of the people, like they get
Yeah.
up and they do all that stuff. And sometimes the guitarist and the vocalist are just like details on the scene, and we are trying to bring that experience to our show, to like to not something rely on one stuff, to make like an act, like a full act, not just like
Yeah.
And
vocalists.
it's not something that we plan on doing. It's because I'm a very energetic. I have a lot of energy, so when I'm playing, I cannot hold it. I like to wake up. I like to stand up and look
Yeah.
into people's eyes. If it's one person, I don't care. I will cheer for that guy. I will make him clap. I will make that show be worthy for that guy.
Yeah,
Because it's one person still, yeah, but he's paying attention to your song. And I like the Mike Portnoy style of drumming. The guy that stand up and
yeah,
ask people to clap and have that energy and crowd control at the same time. It's powerful, man. Because when the drummer stands up, it's an unexpected thing. No one expects a drummer to stand up. So when you say, "Oh, the drummer is paying attention to me," the guy that is sitting behind the drum kit, all hidden, practice. I think it's what in people's minds. So there's a concert that we made was a Sepultura tribute, and we used to have a bass player at the time. I was 16, I think, and then we were playing, and I think the song was Dead Embryonic Cells, and I stand up in one part and start doing the horns and asking people to scream "Hey!" And then people went nut crazy. They got the vibe right away, and that's amazing. That's what metal is for. It's that sharing of energy. And
yeah. That's cool. So let's talk about like so you started the band you're behind the horror. You're still in Brazil. What about early gigs out there? Was it good getting gigs out there? Was it big crowds? Was it easy to sort out all that kind of aspect of the band?
Well, at the beginning, because we were living in central Brazil, and central Brazil is a really tough place for metalheads.
it's like
And
Nashville. It's only country music. So
Yeah,
I mean, but it's in Brazil. In Brazil, metal is not that popular, and so we're trying to make our own scene. Even though Anápolis, the city we're living in, people already made a scene there. Like from the early '80s, we got our own local heroes there. Like people, when we started going to the shows, like the local shows, the people they always had bands there, like from the late '80s, and the guys was like bands. There's a band that called Prostíbulos, another band that called Light
Light
Years, and
Urban
Urban
Cannibals.
Cannibals. Right. You know that feeling when the older guys are playing there, and you're just like, oh my god, I need to be like that guy. And then we started to hang out. The guys didn't like us because we were like kids and
uh,
trying to fit in,
The
playing songs.
the first concert we got, because there was a studio called Studio 54, but was not the same Studio 54, but it was called Studio 54 in our hometown. And the studio owner got us into a concert, and the concert was a metal festival in a farm. But was like there was no public, it was just band playing to another band.
no.
The fun fact was that we were 13-year-old boys, 13, 15, going to play like our first concert. And then our parents took us there. And what happened was, you know what parents are when they don't know the metal scene and everything.
No, but you need to tell something. The place was like, the name of the show was Fire in the Darkness, and it was like in a pit. I don't know, like you get a hill down, and then you got to the place, and a lot of bottles of liquor
Yeah,
hanging on the trees, and like that pretty awesome underground metal festival, like all that, like,
we were all excited to play.
but we were kids, like, I mean, and then our parents got there, and now you're not gonna play here. You're not gonna play here.
Oh,
And then they brought us back home, and I was pissed. I was really pissed. My brother stays home, and then I got a bus with my other friend, and I got back to the place. I had to walk like 2 miles on foot because the bus didn't go there. Just like got to the nearest place there, and I just walking there, and then I get to the place, and I mean that was our like kind of first experience, and this was kind of the scene we got back there. Like it's like a really local scene with a lot of like friends, not that much people. I mean, when you got like pretty big festivals, we can get like 300 people. But then we were growing older, and when I turned 18, I decided I'm gonna do my own festival, and then I started to produce the festival because I mean, when we were kids, nobody want us to play in their festival. So no, I'm gonna make my own festival, and you guys gonna see it, how you should make it. Because by that time, it was everything really underground, and I was kind of pissed at that because I want to play in a better equipment. I want to play like in a better stage, and then I started to do that, like renting better places, renting better equipment, and then more people came in to see the shows, and this like was when we really built the band because people know, oh, if behind the horror is gonna play, we're gonna have a nice place, we're gonna have a nice sound, we're gonna have like cool people, and then everything started, and everything's on YouTube. You can like check for Annapolis Metal, and the last edition was like the biggest one, and then we moved to United States, and then things started happening here now. But
So when did you move? You only just moved recently to the United States?
I moved here about 3 years ago, 3 years and a half now. My brother is here for
6 years. Next year's gonna be 7 years.
That's another cool story how we got to the US.
We'll get to that in a second. Then we'll get to that later on. So oh, what was I saying? So the festival, are you still involved with that, or did someone take it over from you? Who's running it now?
Actually, this festival was already existing, like the Annapolis Metal Fest. And then the guys were like kind of old and tired of doing that. And then I asked to the one of the managers if I could take it over and keep
Right.
doing it. And then like he said, okay. And he asked me something like, just don't screw this, please.
Yeah.
And like, okay, I'll try. I'll do my best. And then after that, like we got 6 editions. We got like government. I don't
Grant?
know how you call here, but
Is it a loan or a
we got
grant?
a lot of incentive for the. Turns out the festival was made into a city festival. Like they got the festival into the agenda of the city festival. Was pretty cool.
Pretty much the city was sponsoring the
That's
festival.
cool. Yeah.
It really became a big thing.
What I really tried to do there was because then I got involved to politics because of metal, because I was trying to because we got culture secretary thing there, and
Yeah.
I tried to make metal a cultural movement, like
Yeah.
something that's not just guys drinking beer and like doing what people think they're like crappy stuff. We're like a cultural movement. We're like people like playing instruments. We're a movement, like the economy around it. We're doing like giving lessons. We're doing a lot of stuff more than they were just thinking. And then just I put on everything on paper, got to like public spaces to talk about metal and how metal changed my life, how metal could change the whole environment in the city. And I mean, I wasn't lying, and they got the idea. They understand. They saw how we were really committed with this, like this philosophy. Because
Yeah.
we got to this point. Metal, it's something that really turns your life better. I mean,
Yeah.
I think for every metalhead, that's the turning point. And
Yeah.
then we're trying to turn the people's life better with metal, basically.
Yeah. Metal is life, metal is art, whatever. So we've gone 25 minutes. We've not even got to America yet. So let's talk about your first recordings, like your earliest demos and that. I mean, was that all recorded in Brazil? All your early stuff was what was the recording places like where you was put out your first demo, for example?
Well, everything's starting from there too, because we made some demos from the first EP we released, and then we got a project from the government. Like it was kind of it's kind of a prize for people who like are engaged with cultural stuff,
All
and they
right.
got us like pretty much they got us some money to record an album.
That's cool.
But then I was starting to studying mixing, mastering, recording in home studio. And then I realized it would be much better if I bought the equipment to make an album at home than go into the studio and spend all that money at one shot. And then there's when we bought our first equipment, first recording equipment, and we recorded everything at home. Was everything doing by ourselves, like everything DIY. So the first songs and this last album was made for the in the same thing, but we were doing here. But basically, the recording places we know is our rooms, our living room, or sometimes our bathroom to
Yeah.
record. So we didn't get much to the studio.
No, but that's been for since day one. You've always done it yourself, DIY from first release all the way to the most recent release.
Yeah,
That's
totally.
yeah,
Not totally, actually, because when you got here, the vocals recorded with John Seymour. Is a producer in New Jersey, and we were trying to do something a little bit different, and mostly because we don't have a place to record the vocals here. Because here we're living in an apartment, and
yeah,
we start screaming in an apartment. Maybe the
yeah.
police got here, and
It sounds like you got a vocalist in the background, a vocalist in training in the background. I can hear.
yeah.
That's my little one.
Okay. Right. So, how was the reaction to your first demos and that? Was the scene getting big where you were with putting on the festival and like? Did you get other bands from outside of Brazil playing the festival? Was it just like Brazilian bands there?
Well, we got to some local festivals, and but we got to play some pretty cool festivals to the capital city where we were living, called Goiânia. We play some festival there. We opened for Crisium, but
Right.
and the biggest show, the biggest act we ever opened for was when on the Annapolis Metal Fest we brought Kiko Loureiro, the actual guitarist from Megadeth, and he was doing like his solo tour, and I need to got this guy here, and then we brought Kiko Loureiro to Annapolis, and we opened the the act for him. But I mean, the biggest festivals and the biggest shows we played was the shows we were producing, because back in there wasn't not much in places to play, not much
Yeah.
in festivals. So mostly that was we decided to make our own festivals, to make something bigger than everybody was doing there.
Yeah. So do it yourself festivals, do it yourself recordings. It's all about getting your hands dirty and doing it yourself, really.
Yeah, everything from the
Scratch.
from the scratch to
Yeah.
the festival. Everything was always doing by ourselves. And I mean, you gotta do what you gotta do.
Yeah.
We're not just the type of guys who are gonna sit back and waiting for the big chance or for the big festival. I mean, we
What's
gotta
the
hustle.
What's the reaction been like to your recordings? Like, have you sold a lot of your a lot of your demo tapes, a lot of your albums, and that? As it was there a lot of people buying music in Brazil? Was there a lot of like tape trading and illegal downloading and stuff like that?
Oh, wait.
Just give me 1 minute.
Actually, when we started to playing in these festivals was kind of hard because nobody trusts us, nobody want us to do that. But after they saw like, oh, the guys can do that, oh, we need to get them together. We need to be with them. We need to help them. I mean, it's cool, but if you're seeing how the things is now they're not doing anything. But I mean, what else can I say to them? I wish they all are doing great. I mean,
Okay, so let's talk about what kind of stuff do you write about? What, because behind the horror, the band name, is that what the songs are all about as well?
well, we mostly write about games, but always trying to synchronize with social political stuff. I like one song. We got a song called Resident Evil. You know Resident Evil, the game, right?
Yeah, yeah.
And we got the idea seeing what happened with like the epidemic of crack back in Brazil, and I think it was kind of worldwide thing when crack got to the streets, and you saw back there in Annapolis was like we never saw something that like we have like homeless people and stuff like that, but when the crack got to the city, you always see like that people like kind of zombies walking around like that scene from Resident Evil actually. And then I'm gonna write a song about Resident Evil, talking about zombies and talking about how the crack turned people into zombies. And then we got all the analogies from that. Another song like Burn Up This Truth actually was a song about marijuana legalization, because back in Brazil it's not legal even, and that's why we call Burn Up This Truth, because I rather like roll it up and burn off all this truth and make something better of it, maybe smoke. I mean, I'm totally pro legalization and really open about that, and
Yeah.
a lot about the other stuff. And behind the horror is both like this is video games and social political stuff.
Yeah, I say marijuana's a lot blinking better than crack, for example.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's complete
uh,
difference.
yeah, a lot of difference because marijuana, it's kind of medicine. It doesn't turn you into a zombie. Actually, it makes you a better person. Especially, I mean, for me, it makes me a better person in a lot of ways. But I don't
Yeah,
know for other people. But for me, it was kind of a relief from my anxiety problems, depression. We always handle it with that stuff. A lot of things happen, but we always have our personal lives, and a lot of stuff happen too. And I must say, like marijuana helped me, and
right.
helped a lot of people in the world. If you check the records, but I never saw anybody saying like, "Oh, crack helped me."
Yeah, help me lose my house and help me sleep in a gutter.
Yeah, make me fit. I don't know.
Yeah, good point. Okay, so brothers in a band, are you like brothers in arms? Are you always united, like when it comes to like writing songs and going to gigs or whatever? Or there's lots of quite often brothers fight, like cats and dogs. Sometimes brothers fight. What's it like being in a band with a brother?
Well, in the beginning, uh, I used to be like a quitter on everything that I was disappointed or was not going on my way. So the first song that we wrote together was called "Wrath of God." It's in our EP, and the horror begins. and the middle riff of the song, it's like crazy. And I was studying the drums, and I was like, this is in it's groups of three and this and that. And I was trying to explain to him, and he was like, no, this is this, and just play like this, and just play as I'm telling you. And I say, you know what? I'm quitting. You know what? I'm not gonna play in this band. If you guys want to play, find another drummer. And then I did that a couple times, but that was very mature of me. But nowadays, it's totally different. I think every personal problem we had or we could have further on in life as band members, we already had all of them, you know. So we're ready to do everything in peace, everything to add to each other. Because now, when we sit to write a song, we respect each other as a space, and it's it goes we go with the flow, and we sometimes we jam, and a lot of cool ideas come, and there's no pressure. There's no my ego is not that the same that it was before.
Yeah, but back there we were kind of fighting with arms and punches,
Yeah,
all that
there
stuff.
was one time, man. We had such a huge fight. Thank God my father was at home. That my father was holding me because I wanna beat him up. And the only thing that I could do, I got my bicycle was in front of me, and I threw it at him. I threw at him, and
Okay.
that I think that was the last big fight that we had, you know. But
Yeah.
it's
Part of the
God.
process.
Yeah,
So if you listen to the album now, you're gonna like,
you're gonna
oh, the
you're
guys
gonna
must they were really angry at that time. I mean, you're still really angry, but now we're like kind of we can focus our anger on something, and you try to not waste energy fighting each other. And
Yeah.
like, I mean, we're like old now, like old millennials, so trying
Yeah.
to make better.
Yeah, there's something to be said about age. You get like experience, and you know not to fucking let things wind you up. Because you look back at yourself as a kid, sometimes you think, "What the fucking prick I was." You know what I mean? You get angry about stupid shit, and it's just like, yeah. When you get older, it's like, yeah, you know to not get into that kind of thing, right? So right, so two of you, man. What's happened to your bass players? I look at your Metal Archives page. Was it got 50 bass players you've had now, or 25 bass players? It's quite a few anyway. Is it like do they like all blow up or something like that, or combust like in that stupid movie? Can't remember what it's called now. Spinal Tap.
Well, the thing with the bassist was like the And the Hour Begins, our first EP was recorded with a bassist, and the guy is like amazing, like a really really skilled player. And but I mean, once we got to the point when you need like responsibility, you need like to be on like on the time, on the right place, and like you set the time, you set the place, and the guy does not show. I mean, it's really like make me anger, like really angry, really angry.
Yeah,
And then this things like starting happening with rehearsals. We're like trying to like we set up a rehearsal, the guy doesn't show. We set up a gig, the guy like get there like a minute before we got to the stage. So like, no, let's kick off this guy. And he went out. And then we're trying a lot of friends of us were playing bass. And
there's one friend of us that we went to record a song when we had a he used to have a studio to rent for other bands rehearsal, and then we decided to record a song, just a demo, just make a test. And then this guy quit. He said, "No, I cannot play this song." And I said, "What? Why can't you not play it? Play in your own way. We need a bass." But no, I'm quitting. I don't want to be part of the band anymore.
yeah, and I mean back then we were like in a good place. Why we're not fighting that much anymore, and we're trying to produce an album, make things happen. And once we got to that point, and when you really need responsibility with the band, well, like not making a band like just fun stuff for the weekend, or like some rehearsals when you just get a six pack and drink the whole rehearsal. We're trying to kind of make the right thing, like, we rehearsal 2 hours, take a break, more 2 hours, and like getting sharp. And we couldn't find nobody to do that. Nobody wants to be like a band, like not a professional.
Be responsible, because yeah, there's people that things happen for them, but if you're not responsible, if you don't produce, if you don't work, what are you
Mm.
going to show to people?
Yeah.
It's I think it's part of a band that no one knows. Like, you gotta have discipline. If you don't have discipline, you get nowhere. You don't finish a song. You don't
Yeah.
finish an album. You don't engage on social media. Everyone that is in this band right now and gonna watch this interview, they know what we're talking about and how hard it is to engage with every fan on social media. You gotta have discipline. You gotta keep constant doing things, and it's a job, man. It's a job.
Yeah, and to get a guy just to play the bass, we don't need that today. We can do like a big act. We can do a really great show without a bassist. But I mean, we if we find a guy who wants to be more than just like a guy playing the bass, like on the back to the like playing like this. We don't need that guy. We need somebody to like invest in a band, like believe in a band, and try to build up this thing with us. We don't need somebody to, I don't know, just got to the train and like rely on everything we're doing. Because
Yeah.
at the end of the time, uh, we're investing, like we're trying to make the band like a business. We don't want like only play for fun. We want to make like we want to live for this, like in I mean, being realistic,
Yeah.
we don't want to be Metallica, we don't want to be like, actually we want
Oh,
to
I
be
want.
Metallica,
I want to be Metallica.
but I mean, being realistic, we want to live from our art. We want to live in
Create an
just
income.
making metal and
There's
that stuff.
and it's one of the laws of the world. If you are passionate about something and you can make an income of it, you're
Mm.
gonna live forever, man. It's because you're gonna each day of your life, it's gonna be the best because you're gonna be doing what you're passionate about it, and you're gonna be able to provide for yourself, for your family. It's what everyone which is succeed says. You can look for the big ones. They say it. You know I'm doing what I'm passionate about, and I'm making income. They don't say with these words, but
Yeah.
So
So
then we
everyone's
decided
dream.
would be much better having not having a third broken wheel,
Yeah.
and just like we're doing really good now. Like we have a really good dynamic. We got some videos of from us playing live. If you guys gonna check our YouTube channel, I mean, we can put a we can bring hell to a stage.
With just the two of you, yeah?
yeah, man.
Cool. That's cool. So let's talk about the relocation then. So I think you said 3 years you moved, then 6 years for your brother. What brought about the relocation? Why did you move from Brazil? Was it to band purposes as well? Or was it for work purposes?
Yeah, I was for the band purpose at the beginning, and everything came like we were starting the festival, and then we got this prize from the government. They like giving the prize for people who like really doing some stuff with cultural, and then we recording the EP, and then with this EP recorded, we got an invitation letter to play in South by Southwest. Actually, in a festival that was happening while the South by Southwest in Austin, Texas was happening. And then we started to doing the project, we started working on that, and then we came to the US for the first time to play on this festival in Austin, Texas. But when we got there, we played the festival, was really great, and since we're doing this kind of, it's kind of we get there with a government incentive for cultural exchange, and I need to get back to Brazil to like showing some pictures, like to the project get to an end. You know that they really need proof that we're doing there, making the things we're gonna do. But my brother decided to stay, so he stayed here, and then I need to get back to Brazil. I was like doing some stuff there, and then I spent 2 more years in Brazil before I got here, and then I got here again in 3 years ago, and then everything started. We basically started the band again here, but
Yeah.
with the whole know-how from the gigs, the festivals. We already know how to play an instrument. We already know how to record it. And like in 1 year, we were already making part of the scene, the local scene here. We're starting playing gigs in Philadelphia, Jersey,
Maryland.
Maryland, Delaware, New York, and
Cool.
like all that stuff happened.
So
We were selected to play at the Metal Battle. What is the name of?
Yeah, the metal battle for Vacan in New York, but
oh
then
yeah.
Corona got us.
Hmm.
Now we're just waiting,
Yeah.
and hardwood floors.
So it sounds like when you got to America, both of you together, you hit the ground running. You already had the experience of recording, experience of playing, and then you got to a place where you had more places to play, and you just kind of like thriving in that environment.
Exactly, and it was really great because uh, we got here knowing everything, and but at the same time, we didn't know anything about the scene here. We didn't
In
know
anybody.
anybody, and the first shows we got we're kind of shy, trying to fit in because we didn't know anybody. But then where the response was so good, like we made so many great friends here, like a lot of people like cheering for us when we got the chance to connect with book agents, like promoters, bands, fans. And then, I mean, everything connected here. Because here we got a lot of places to play. We got a lot of people to show our stuff.
Hmm.
Every little town has that metal venue. And I mean, it's much more easier. And I mean, really good. It was a like a turning point for us.
Yeah, it's almost as like I don't know if this is if you can relate to this at all. But you've been going for so long. It's like you've hit here. You're almost like a new band now. Because you've got like a new lease of life, new enthusiasm. You seem very like you've almost got the enthusiasm of someone who's just sort of starting out almost.
Yeah, and I mean, this was nice because now we got this new influence from the environment, not only for musically speaking. We're doing the things like much more professionally because when you got here, we're starting to invest in our career in a different way because we already know how to play an instrument, we already how to know how to record. But what was lacking in our stuff was the music marketing stuff, like
Yeah,
how to
Promote.
promote your band, like and all that stuff, the music marketing stuff, which I think is one of the most important skills for bandmates. I mean, everybody needs to know something about that, and that's when you start investing in courses. And this kind of we didn't got this kind of material in Brazil,
yeah,
like at least that we didn't know. And when we got here, starting looking for people who already know how to do that, new ways to do that. And I mean, everything was new for us because we didn't know anything about it. But that was happened to us. Like we didn't we got a new skill for the band.
yeah. And is it paying off as well with the new skills? I mean, you've got PR. You got PR now and booking agents and stuff like that, or you do that all your DIY as well?
Now we've been working with a lot of people. Like now we got a book agent, now we got a PR guy, and now we got a producer. It's not a producer because the last guy we work on the Burn Off This Roof, we only recorded vocals. The album was pretty
Yeah.
much done. But we're trying to get more people engaged with the band in this more professional way. And I mean, only good things happen when you talk to more people and you allow people to bring stuff to you and lower your ego, learn how to listen better. And I mean, all you can always get forward if you have this kind of mindset, like talk less, listen more, and keep doing what you believe in.
Mm. And the scene where you are now, as you said, is much better than it was in Brazil in regards to getting gigs in different places.
Yeah,
The crowd's good.
yeah. I mean, we've been playing at the same time is better. It's kind of the same because we've been playing for empty venues here too.
Yeah.
I think this is the reality for a lot of bands in the the whole world scene. And I mean, even for the shows we're playing for empty venues, we made a lot of friends playing for the band, the other bands that were playing there.
Mm.
Like we get to connect to bookie agents, we get to connect to sound guys, the guy who's gonna be on the sound table and that stuff.
Yeah.
And I mean, everything is different. But even if you're gonna play for nobody, there's always that one guy. You know,
Yeah.
always that the guy who was like drinking, he's like having the best time of his life. You were there playing for him,
Yeah.
him or her. Like if was one guy there, we're gonna like make the best show that guy has ever seen in his life.
Yeah, I think if you always put effort in, people appreciate it, even if it's a quiet one. If some people, like I've seen bands like go to a quiet, hardly any people there, just put a really shitty performance in because they couldn't be bothered. You can tell they weren't interested. But if you like, people can see you're really putting your effort into it, they're gonna fucking appreciate it.
Yeah, totally. And I mean, even if there's nobody there, you can set up a camera there. You can record you're playing in a good setup with lightings and drums, and then you can repost it on social media. And for a show, there's nobody saw you live. You got a lot of content to like. A
Yeah,
lot of people can see you, and I mean, it's always have to keep your mind to turn some things that wasn't like really good, but you can turn into something really great out of nowhere. Just
Yeah, take the best of any situation that your band are in, man.
yeah. So maybe you should start your own festival there where you are.
we
Get
got
some
some,
big.
let's wait like now you were trying to do this year, like we're trying because we're living in a shore area. There's a lot of cool venues here, like outside places to play. But with this whole thing happened, like we're just
Yeah,
retreat to our base, and like now we're pretty much doing like promotion on the album,
mm.
working a lot to get money, to doing more promotion, and to I mean that's how we got together. We're like reaching out for people, like wow, we got this album. How can we work with your blog? How can we work with your site? And
Yeah,
I think if you're doing an amazing job, like putting bands like us, and then I checked your website. You got a lot of bands. You're doing like a pretty good job doing all this for bands like us. And the least we can do is like reach out, provide, shout out, and connect. If you're
yeah,
gonna
cool.
do this, it's better when you're gonna do together.
Yeah. Well, we're running out of time. So this is such an easy chat we've had today. I thought sometimes I struggled. I think we've just been going on for ages. Let's talk about the album then, right? You've got about 5 or 10 minutes. You know, push the album to people. Tell us about the new album. Just came out in August. How's it going?
Well, was really great. The release was like much better than we expected. A lot of people like we got some meme reviews, but that was really nice because uh, we can compare. We can like, but I mean, a lot of people connect with us about the album. A lot of people like get connected to us in in Bandcamp and in our website, our social media. Everybody that listened to the album, I don't know if you're talking the truth, but everybody liked the album. It was a really great feedback. And even my brother was not really involved in the PR process, but then after the feedback, he got talk your story about
Yeah,
it.
the thing is, we got a pretty good response because was what people was telling on the reviews because our PR was sending to us. So it was not like pre-made words or pre-made description. Each review had a different um, interpretation or analysis, whatever it is, of the album. And I
Hmm.
was like, whoa, all a lot of people said a lot of different things, but in at the same time, everything that was said was connected to the songs that we wrote together, that we made together, and that's what music is about, you know. And when you write something, yeah, when I say write, it's a lyric or it's a riff, whatever it is, it's the song. People connect to the song. They feel something, you know. They feel that emotion coming in. It's the power of riffs. As that's the metal power, you know. And that brought me back into working more, being more present. Like I like this interview,
Yeah.
I was the one talking to you all the time.
And Burn Up
Yeah,
This Roof was an album like it has the songs has like almost 8 years and was a really long process. Every song has his own history. And we're gonna tell this story because we're gonna release like a comment album about every track. Like Burn Up This Roof was the first song we wrote for this album, and the songs was like I think 9 years old now. And then we got the second song, the third song, and the whole album has kind of 10 years of history. So
Yeah.
a lot of emotions, a lot of content, a lot of things happened during this whole album. So when you listen to Burn Up This Truth, you make sure you're not listening something like a producer did or something that got from a recipe or something that
it's very
was
organic.
yeah, it's
Very,
something really real. It's something that
yes.
came from all these fights I told you about, all this like the struggles for the scene. We didn't make the songs like to get an album done. We made the songs each by each, thinking on the song, thinking on the feeling we're doing at that moment, the thing we were living at that moment. So I think that's something really special about this album, and something that not intentionally but subconsciously gonna get to you, because you're gonna I'm sure you're gonna feel something different even in the structure of the songs. We try to make something special for us and for everybody who's gonna listen.
Cool. So have you been writing anything new? So these songs you say they're like 10 years old. They've had them for a long time. Have they morphed? Have they changed and like evolved over the years? Like so you've like say organically. Have you been sort of tinkering with them along the way to to so they're no longer the same as what they once were when you first wrote them, kind of thing?
But we were kind of afraid to write new songs by this time, and we were afraid to lost that feeling. But last year we got a studio, we rented a place, bought the whole equipment, and we're starting to jam again.
Yeah.
In
But
those jams,
you didn't. I think you didn't get the credit. You think you're asking if through the years we changed something in the songs, right?
Yeah, have they morphed from like the original, how the song
Yeah,
originally was?
definitely did. The
Yeah.
process was like the first time we played Burn After This True live. There was, we say that was it. Yeah, there was the song was a little bigger. There was a different, and the final part of the song was different. So yeah, we was like, we got the carbon, and every song is a diamond. Through the years, we made that
Right.
process.
Right. Yeah. So you've got to pressure to it until it's turned into a diamond. That's cool. Cool analogy. Right. We've done the hour now. So let's we've got
Already.
yeah. We've got want to talk about. I see you got old. Was it other bands? Out Def. What's Out Def and Light Years? Are they other projects you involved with?
Yes, we do. We do have this. Actually, this is the bass player that we like to work with. And he was the guy that made the mix for the EP.
No.
And he never want to like dedicate to music as we does, but he wanted. There was at the time he was living at the same city as us in Annapolis, and then one day I call him, hey, let's go to our house, let's drink. I invite him in, let's drink some beers and jam, and then we made a song on that evening. And from that song we started the project Out That, because there was nothing with behind the horror, and we didn't want to mix things. But the thing about this project is there will be another album coming. We're working on it too. And the bass player is like, he was very busy with doing college and his other life, the professional life and the job and everything. So he didn't get too involved, and then, but it's a side project. It's not a main thing for us. So
Yeah.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
was really good to play with him because he's a really guy. He's the only bassist we could work together because he was doing all that stuff, like mixing, mastering, artwork, and all that stuff. And he's an amazing bassist player. He's not only an amazing bassist player, he's like playing guitar and all that stuff. But for as a band, was really cool to have another project, even if it was me and my brother playing, because then we can express the other kind of influence we got, like for more progressive metal, progressive rock. I got a lot of influences from Yes, Deep Purple, and like early Boston, Queen's Ride, but bands like different from the trash death metal that were made on Behind the Horror, and was really nice to explore that kind of sonority. I don't know.
That sounds cool. Okay, then, so we've done over an hour now. So, have you guys got anything you want to sort of share with the people watching? Like any future plans, anything to look out for?
Well, we want to invite everybody who is watching this video to check our website, like www.behindthehour.net. You can find everywhere. Oh, the link info up. It's already
Well,
there.
yeah,
So,
so but the blog link is down below, and in the blog, all your links are there. So all your various social media sites. So you've got
so
nice.
please, guys, check our link, check our songs. We got a lot of stuff coming for the next year. I hope you want to tour the next year. I mean, what we really love to do is to playing live, but we got a lot of stuff on our YouTube channel. We're trying to keep posting at least a video a week, to not to get busy, to make music, to make content. We're trying to show how we live besides the band. And I mean, check it out. We got our links here and with Lucas now.
Yeah. So
you're
stay
very
tuned.
very active on social media, yeah. So people can check all that out, and they can
Yeah,
hang out with you, whatever. Yeah, cool.
we're mostly active on Instagram, and now we're trying to like doing more the YouTube content.
Cool.
But find us on Instagram. You're always sharing stories there with that Instagram stuff.
Hmm.
And I hope you guys like it. We're not always posting only music. We're like we like to do the funny guy stuff too, but
Cool.
it depends on you. But hope you guys enjoy it.
Hopefully they will, yeah, and hopefully you'll come back and have a chat with us again, like sometime in the future. And you got anything else out or anything like that, or maybe we could do a collaboration or some sort on YouTube. Who knows? But also,
Anytime, man.
We're down for it. Totally.
yeah, cool. I was just looking actually because I thought I must have played you recently on my show when you got in touch with me. I didn't know, like, because you sort of, I think you emailed me on Facebook. I just gone through my blog, and apparently I played you like ages ago on my show. Last time I played you guys was like, so look, it's oh no, it wasn't that long ago. Sorry, I thought it was a really long time ago for a second. No, it was a couple of weeks ago. That's not too bad. Sorry, I messed that up. I thought I'd been kidding. But I'm going to play you again on Sunday anyway. I'll play you again on the show tomorrow. So just what song shall I play of yours on the show tomorrow? What is the song you recommend? If everyone checks out just one song of yours, what song should it be?
Should be Burn Up This Truth. I think it's the hit song for the album, the first song. But I mean, it's really hard to say because every song is like a kid, like our son.
You can't have a favorite child, can you? You can't have a favorite
I recommend
child.
to listen to the whole album.
Yeah, of course.
But I mean, Burn Up This Truth.
Start with that one. Start with that one, yeah. Well, I'm going to play that on the show tomorrow anyway. So anyone tune into my podcast and go and follow these guys' social media pages. And thanks a lot for coming in today after you just got home from work. So really appreciate you guys coming in.
Thank you so much. Thanks for having us. It was really,
no worries.
really
nice. Had a good time chatting to you guys. Anyway, thanks for listening, everyone. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.